No word of a lie. This is my eighth time recording this video because for some reason I have a habit of, I know you can't see on the screen, but in the top middle of the screen there is a recording thing where I can either hit a bin, a trash can to get rid of it, pause or keep or mute my mic. And instead of hitting this trash can here, I keep hitting the trash can up here um to end the recording, which just straight away puts it deletes it. So this is I'm not even joking, this is my eighth time recording this. Eighth time, and that's why there's like levels on the screen already. So instead of explaining this again and again and again and again and again of what keeps happening, I'm just gonna get past that already and just say this is a backtesting video. Um, yeah, I've gone to Thursday, the 26th of December. We're going to be doing the same close lows, close highs, look for trades off the order blocks. Um, anyway, what I was saying in the other recording, first of all, I'll just say uh, this little range we have the high and the low here. Equal highs, equal lows, or just a low, whatever, however you want to see it. But what I was saying in the other recordings is clearly we've hit a high time frame level here. I don't have any high time frame levels on the screen, but why I think we hit a high time frame level here is because we have started stabilizing. You can see the stabilization happening, closing highs, even if it's interior high. Yeah, I know we closed this, but I'll get to why I think that's not going to hold in just a second here. Um, but yeah, I know we're holding a high time frame level. We're trying to snuggle up. We're holding this bullish order block after closing the high. Yeah, we did this, but this is news. This is swept here. So yeah, obviously if she was in here, you would have been stopped out for -1R if she was looking for that, just because of this news work. If that wasn't news, that wouldn't have happened. Um, so you can't really say the setup failed. And I mean, I don't think the setup has failed yet anyway, like, nothing's really happened. Um, but put that aside, that's not really the point if she won or failed in that random trade there. But yeah, I was kind of saying I don't think this range is gonna hold. Why I don't think this range is gonna hold is because if we're stabilizing and we've closed exterior lows here, right? These are exterior lows in a high time frame, or even just on the 15 minutes, still exterior lows. Um, what happens when we close lows, right? When we close lows, where does it return? The order blocks. If it's going to hold off the lows instead of the order blocks, what you will see, um, how do I cut it up? Got which one it is, this one. Um, if it is going to hold off of the lows, no, sorry, if this is going to move down in an aggressive way, right? You're going to hold off of those lows and you're going to go. What did it do here? First, it swept it, or tried to sweep it as a fake sweep, and then broke those. If this is going to continue down, in my opinion, it's going to have to be in an aggressive way because we've just hit a high time frame level or something of importance. So if this is going to move down, I'd want to see this hold and it dump straight away. None of this sideways, so I come up here like this because it doesn't do that after hitting something of importance and moving down in a big way after closing a low. That's why when you get these massive expansion moves up and down, it's normally off of a back test of an of whatever low or high just got closed. It's because it's moving down in more of an aggressive way when it's holding that. Whereas if we're going to hold the bearish or bullish order block, it takes quite a while for it to go, doesn't it? As we can see in a lot of these films, it kind of if there is any examples at all. Just find one, just anywhere. Yeah, like, as you can see here, like we close low, comes back up to this order block. It takes kind of 30 minutes here before it starts going down, which is two candles. So some of these, this is a better example here. Close low, holding this bearish order block, um, look how long it takes before it starts doing something. That's what happens when you hold the order blocks. It takes a bit longer to move. Whereas if you're holding the lows or the highs, it should do it pretty soon. So if you're in a trade off of that and it's not done anything in a couple of candles, you're most likely going to be stopped out and it's going to come up to these order blocks trying to hold. But so I'll tell you my whole thoughts behind this and where I think this is going to go. I think judging we broke these, and we're trying to hold something. The only reason I'm marking this because it's a low. There's clearly something more important here than this. But if we're closing that low here, what does it normally do, right? It normally closes lows, returns to the order block. So the order block on a higher time frame level for this low is going to be up here, right? Wherever that is it doesn't really matter. I just know that it's gonna return to this range before it goes down. Why do I think that? Because for a longevity for trades in a longer time period to move in a direction, you want it to fulfill gaps instead of just leaving them for uh for the future, right? Because if we close these and then we come up, we fill in all the gaps, we satisfy that, then we move down. There's now no reason for it to come back up to here. So saying that, um, that's why I think we're going to return up to here because a lot of the times, if we leave a gap, all it's going to do is go down for a bit in an aggressive way, and at some point it will come back up uh, before it goes down, or whatever it might continue up from there. So, what you kind of want to look at in this range, um, is you're seeing this as yeah, we closed the low out, we closed the low. In this moment, if this doesn't hold off this next candle or two, we already know this isn't going to be an aggressive move. If we go back to what I said about aggressive moves and kind of holding high time frames here is if if this is going to break down the whole range and kind of disregard this high time frame entirely, is we need to hold these next two candles, next three candles, and then go. If that's not going to happen, normally it goes up to plan B, tries to hold that. If it's going to hold, it's going to do it slowly, and then it's going to go. But I don't think it's going to hold any of these because of this high time frame level. The fact we did this closed here, I think we're going to return back up to this range before we go down. Long term short, short term long. So what I'll be looking at here is this to completely get disregarded. Maybe it tries to hold it and then goes up. And then what's going to happen here is when you're in this type of scenario where you're having a hard time frame and you think direction is flipping and you've closed a pretty interior low, meaning you'll be a bit conflicted because you think, oh yeah, we hit this, but yeah, this is happening. So, clearly we're going to come up to it and go down. No, like I said, if we want to break this more extreme level over this mini range holding, is you would need something more aggressive to do that. Meaning this low would need to close, need a hold. So if that doesn't happen, all I'll be looking at this bearish order book as is to flip direction down to this bullish order block before it goes up, anticipating this is going to be the bullish order block. So every time you kind of have this scenario, right, where be it the other way around, where this is a long trade, a short trade shot, sorry. Um, if you're in a scenario where you hit high time frame levels and you've closed a low, like an interior low, look at these order blocks as only as something to flip direction to the corresponding order block or the opposite order block. So bearish order block, close low, direction long term or short term, sorry, right now, because of this high time frame level, we should be going up, meaning we're seeing this as a level just to push us down to the order block before we continue up. Try and remember that and look for it in your own trading. But more often than not, if we've been going down for a long period of time, then we started stabilizing that first order block. If we're going to continue up from there and we don't hold that low that got closed, it's going to hold it. It's going to go sideways. It's going to come down to this bullish order block. Then it's going to continue up. So you're looking at that bearish order block. If you're now anticipating direction to be flipped as only something to push you down to the opposite order block to then continue up. So that being said, I think what we can do now is move the candles forward. I don't know if I had it set at 130 to start, but that's where I had it set on every other video. So we'll move it forward to 130 because we know we get a sweep of the, sorry, we get a spike. This is where I was going to start the backtest in the other videos. So that didn't happen, did it? It tried to happen. The move down. It tried. But like I said, if it doesn't happen in these one or two candles, it's not going to happen. So now what can we say now is this bearish order block, we're only seeing this as a level to flip that direction down to this bullish order block. So what we can be looking at in this moment is if we get rid of this level here. No, we can keep it actually. What we'll be looking at this moment for is just kind of look what's happening, right? This is the 15-minute time frame. We're going a minute in just a sec here, but this didn't hold. We created a little range, tried to move us down. This range was always going to happen because it's going to try and hold that low, which normally means it will create a high and a low, a little interior range, which it did. And then we closed that high, that first interior high, which can cycle us up to the more exterior high being closed, which cycles us up to this bearish order block that we think isn't going to hold. So what should we be looking for once we hit that is we can still short in this motion here. In this time, we can still short. Why? Because just what I said is we're looking at this bearish order block as something to flip direction down to that bullish order block before that continues to up. So in this moment here, when we first tested it, for that to be true, we'll be looking for the lows to be closed. Meaning in this range here, what tested this, right? What brought this up? But there's not a low until here. So until that closes, we can't look for that short. So that's why if you tried that beforehand, you obviously would have lost. If you're looking at something so interior like this as the low here, if you're looking at something as interior as that, your target needs to be so interior. It needs to be something like this. And the reason I mark that is because clearly on the 15-second that would be a low. That's why I'm looking at this kind of because this would also this is a low on the minute, but on the 15-second it will be more evident that is a low. So once that goes, you could look for something. But if you plan it smart and actually looking for the roof, the things you should be is this is a low, it needs to go. Until that low goes, we can't take a short because it's going to go sideways. It might break up, or it might just dump straight away. But to get rid of that kind of diminish the likelihood of you being in a losing trade is you will wait for that low to close before you look for anything. So the moment it closes here, we can now start looking at things, right? So take that, go back to what I said about closing lows. Unless it goes aggressive in the first one or two candles, which it doesn't, it's going to go to this bearish order block before it tries to continue down. So what we can, the trade I would try here personally is if that is the case, I'll be looking at this bearish order block um, as the thing that's going to push us all the way down to this bullish order block. This is the target. This isn't the target. This isn't the target. This isn't the target. This is the target. We're holding that bearish order block, which will momentarily step that direction to that bullish order block, which will then continue to swap. That's what I personally think. Um, so yeah, this is the trade I'd look for. This bearish order block. Um, so we can see if that happens. If it doesn't test, it's holding this. So if you miss your entry, just scan for the second entry. You can and pretty fast before you miss out on the whole move. So let's say you had a limit short here or whatever it is. You had a short ready here. That missed. It created an 82 at 29. Quite evident this is an 82 because of the wick as well. And for what we're testing the highest fair value gap, which is kind of on par with testing the order blocks. Um, what I mean by that is um, if we're closing highs and we don't test the order block, what's on par with the order blocks is always the lowest fair value gap. Stepped up the other way around, and we're looking at the highest fair value gap. They kind of go toe to toe in how um, important it is in a move to be back tested. These highest fair value gaps and the lowest fair value gaps of the order blocks. So if that doesn't get tested, but this does, look at that as we no longer it's no longer going to come up to. If it was going to test it all in once. It didn't do that. We pushed down aggressively, created a big wick. So what I'll be looking at straight away is okay, unless where this candle opened, it now tries to test up to there. I will no longer look at that, and I'll be trying to get in once this body closes and kind of confirms this as the bearish order block for the next range. The next range being this low, this high. Sorry, I just had to pause my music there. I know it probably didn't seem like I left. Um, but anyway, yeah. So that's what I'd be looking at. Unless this next candle comes up, tests this, I'll now be looking at just trying to go for an entry once the next candle gets under that. Literally, for me, it's just when it gets under it because I kind of confirm that as this is holding. If this was going to go up, it should have gone up now. We have a big wick here that's keeping price down. So if we come down here, gain this order block, now the likelihood of this new bearish order block holding is a lot more likely than it was when we was up here. So if it's failing the first time trying to get above here and then coming down, gaining this, well, why is it now going to come up to here, push above this wick? If it failed when there was less levels to hold it down, why is it going to hold the second time around? So what I would look for intra candle and the next candle is if we gain that body, I would near enough get into it immediately. So I'd have my stop loss here for 6.25. If this is the practice count and we're doing the challenge, um we could do 4 contracts here or 3. I think 4 we could get away with if you Okay, risking an extra $1 or $2. Um, so four there, and we think our target's down here. So we can look at this as this is about $270 to the target where we think it's going to go. Um, and yeah, we'll see if that does play out. So my trade's going to be straight up when it gets into the body. Because like I said, unless the next candle comes up to here, breaks above here, and then tests here, I'd look at that candle as the new bearish order block. And because it's just so high in the range, wherever the high of that candle is, I'd prefer having it here above the actual order block. So yeah, let's see if that does happen. Okay, so the first outcome happened. So I would have been filled the moment it got under that. Um, I literally have a fill them at the moment you get to that price. So I know I wouldn't have missed that. And then my target will be here. This isn't somewhere that I would just take profit straight away. I'd want to see if it can maybe push a bit deeper into here. Because you got to look at this as the lowest it can kind of go. If this is the 15-minute order block, the midpoint of it is probably down here somewhere, meaning it can drop all the way down now, and you could get an uh, extra 3R out of that. But yeah, like I said, in your own trading yourself, you should be looking at, you should absolutely be taking profits at these things instead of trying to play for more. You need to lock up money before you try and go for more. Even if you just took it to the easiest target. Like I said, the easiest target is always going to pay 10 times more. Barely has to go anywhere, right? Like, look at that. Doesn't have to go too far, does it? I know for this move it's 2.64, but price action wise, it doesn't have to go that far, especially if you've got direction right here, which, in my opinion, um, this is going to be the move that does push us down. So we'll move this forward here. No, nothing's happening yet, really. I am not really seeing this and caring that we close this high. We close the exterior lows, closing an interior high after backtesting this 15, first of all, as well, kind of sweeping that high here. There's nothing here saying we're going to go up. If this is going to go up, we won't know until we've been stopped out because it'll be once we close this high. We've closed one high, two highs. We've kind of rejected this whole thing here, um, and just everything in this whole entire move. And then we can disregard the fact that we think it's going to come to here once we close about 2 to 3 highs in a row. So yeah, I don't really flip direction, in kind of exteriorly or interiorly until we get 2 to 3 breaks in that opposite direction. So don't hold. Sorry, it does hold. I mean, where can you trail? Can you trail anywhere? Would I trail anywhere? Yeah, I'll trail. Now I'll trail here. So just a few ticks in the profit here. Why would I try there? Is because a little push up here. So this is kind of the low. We break that low. If I was going for this trade here, my stop loss would be here. So that's where I put my take profit right now. I didn't mean to move it that fast. So what's going to happen is, like I say all the time, it's just my simplest thing going is closing lows, holding that order block. In this scenario, the low is also the same as the order block, but we're still holding that order block and then going down again. Right? So close lows, return to the order block. Just a simple setup going. So saying that is we can now trail from here to here. You could also, if you've been very aggressive with it, you would have already been out. You would have just gone to that first target and been out. Or, like I was saying, is looking at these as taking profit and going straight up and trying to get a re-entry So if you lose, you still locked up something more than if you were still sitting in here with your stop loss here. Because the thing is, right, you would have locked up around, I'd say about $120. You would locked up $120 and then you're risking 50. So worst case scenario, you lock up $70 uh, by losing that 50. Or you stay in that first trade and you only lock up 50 if it comes up and stops you out. Meaning taking profit here, re-entering here, and losing the second trade, you still make more than if you was just to sit in the first one. Meaning getting a win and a loss in this scenario was better than just getting the win. So yeah, you take profits there, or you're going for the extra target. Never returns by the looks of it. It just tests into that first fair value gap. Like I said, first fair value gap's going to have the same uh, kind of strength as these order blocks. So it never really has to go to the order blocks. It might just be that highest fair value gap. Um, why I'm saying this is the highest fair value gap is because this is the highest fair value gap after closing this low. So yeah, held that fair value gap. And once this fair value gap closes, I know it looks like I've just ran the fair value gap before what I just said to you. After closing this fair value gap, we can start looking at this as something to push price up here. And then it might have actually retested that order block before trying to go down again. So that would have been, if that went, that could have been a momentarily flipping direction for a long up to here. Trying to break this. If you was going for that, you'd be anticipating that breaking or plan for it to break. So I wouldn't look for a long there if that was the case. So if it hits, not here, evidently it will most likely hit. There's not really anything else for it to get held off of. Also, something else you could look at is um, if you try to go for a re-entry, you missed it here. Um, yeah, we're close to target, but if it comes back up to here, taps you in for this order block, close that low, here's the order block, get into there, get to the target. That could still be a fairly good trade. As we can see, it's 4.77. So that would still be $155 with 5 minis there, risking $32.5. And you hit target before that happens anyway. So now I'll be disregarding. I'll obviously no longer go for that short because now that's not going to hold because we satisfied target, in my opinion, and it's going to continue on. So yeah, if you never took profit anywhere, you were locked up about $270, being another $200 die ticked off. So let's see if that does flip direction now. Uh, and if I'm right on this whole move, this shouldn't hold, this shouldn't hold, this shouldn't hold. None of this should hold now. This has already kind of been traded to. This is what satisfied the move down, meaning this is now not going to hold. It could have held if it retested in this scenario before this got here. Now this has been here, none of this is going to hold. That being said, if I was being very, very aggressive with this, I would straight up look for this to try and get us up to here. Um, Getting trailed out somewhere. If so, I wouldn't obviously sit here at -1R, trying to play for the bigger move. I know it's going to be a bigger move in the long run, but I'd also take into account, if we've been cycling up for a while and we're still, not here, one fake news is coming up, I can be spiked out and go straight up, which I know does happen. Um, I think we saw it in this recording, it does happen. So, yeah, we'll play this forward. I would personally, myself, I wouldn't recommend it for a long time for you. Um, I kind of don't really agree with Nuke teaching very, very aggressive trades to complete beginners or people who can't even make money because you're going to lose a lot more, and it does kind of affect you as a trader because you kind of take losses personally at the start. Whereas at my position, I take losers as just I just don't really care. It happens, whatever. So personally, I would try once we've hit this. I already know Dope's going to try flip. Like I said, I'd be intra-candle. I'd have a thing ready to try and get that up. But if not, I'd be waiting for this to close uh, to get that long. There, guys. Now what you could wait for, if you didn't want to wait for this, is this low got closed. This high, sorry, which came down to retest the order block here. Now we can look at this as order block for this little range. It's going to hold to try and project us to up. So we could have got a buy there, stop loss here. Try and break us up to here. Same thing again here is this come down to here. This will be next in the hold. If it is going to hold. Right now, though, with that first trade I'd be on, I was risking 9.75, meaning I could only do. I think personally myself, if I looked at 270, I would risk a couple extra dollars and just do 3 contracts over two. So I could do 3 minis here, risking about $56, $57 or something. Where would I be trialed? Right now, because now we closed this fire. This is only when you can really trail break even. But I never really trail break even after we've moved up so much. I try and trail a bit into profit. What I'm looking for here now is once we create a low, I don't care what low it is, it doesn't have to close that high yet because we're so high up from our entry here. Is once that low gets put in straight up, I will be trailing to it. That's normally what I do. Is now I've got a skinny candle here with a big wick. What I would do is try to. And then once that next candle closes, if it tests into that, moves up, I would then try to that. If it doesn't do that, I would stay. I'd keep it here. This one didn't, but what I normally do is once we move up in an aggressive way, I normally try to the bottom of that candle. So meaning I would be here, even though the candle still close like that, I don't care. I would still be there because this type of wick here or this type of look in the move is such a, I guess, flipping direction look, like a bearish look in this moment. Swept here, holding off of here. It's going to try and come down to here. Where's it going to try and go? Well, this is the order block it needs to go to. We haven't even tested, after closing this higher, we haven't tested the order block. So there's likelihood it comes back down to here. So we can kind of disregard this one. Not saying one isn't going to hold and this one isn't a good level to go for. But the actual bigger part of this move is this order block over this one. Because this is the actual order block, right, of this range. But the only reason I keep saying all these different order blocks is because I'm always looking at the order block for that little range from the high to the low that was recent to that move. So yeah, personally, I'd have my take profit there. Get stopped at there, whatever, I don't care. Clearly was the way to go. Comes back down to this order block. Not saying this one can't hold, like I said, but in my opinion, it's going to try and come back down to the lowest point of that move. Which it does do. I think it goes straight to the order block. It does. Straight to the order block. Why? Because we close that high. Direction's flipped up. We're going to close that high, come back down to the order block. There we go. We try and move up. News is coming soon. So if I was in a re-entry off of this, I would probably be charged very, very aggressively myself. I would have been tried out here anyway. the sales in here already got tried out this low, which just kept failing to break down. Still think direction can be up. Anyway, don't look at white noise as something to say, oh, yeah, direction's clearly failing here because we held this. Well, we're not looking at any of this stuff to hold, right? What did I say like 10 minutes ago? Nothing's going to hold. What does it do? These hold to come back down to the order box to then go up. Like I was saying, all the way back to why I think this is going to hold. If direction is flipped, we're going to see the opposite order blocks as somewhere to flip the direction down to the order block in the direction you want to go. So we close these. We're now looking at this to get us back down to here. It does, all right. So news comes up in a few minutes here. So until that happens, there's the news. So we can now see this as we swap the whole entire range as well to put the icing on the cake for this to try and move up here. So we swept every single line in this move. And we already think direction is going to be up. So because I'm kind of running out of time here because it's getting pretty late, I'm just going to continue this forward. It's already been 36 minutes anyway. I can continue this forward and just see if I was right on the whole entire move. But after the fact this has happened, this is where I would now be looking for longs. This got put in. This is the order book for this 130 news, right? So I would look at look at something like this. You're 18, you've still been a trade, who cares? You already made like $350 if you got those two trades. 18, yeah, two minis if you want to risk a bit more because you made so much. You still make $200 if you are risking more anyway. So it's not like you lose out on that. If not, just wait for whatever test that to hold and then get the thing that holds, which is kind of my play a lot more than getting the straight up test of it. So yeah, we set the whole range of different directions up. We now gained the 130 order block after closing the 130 high. We come down, we test it here now, gain it. You see, we didn't gain this one, so I couldn't get an entry. Gain this one, I could have got an entry already. Also, already above the old low. If you missed that anyway, go back to exactly what I was just saying. If we think direction's up, and we're closing these lows, we're not now saying, oh yeah, okay, this is going to hold. We're seeing these bearish order blocks as something to hold us, to change direction down, to fill everyone in these trades to then go up. So let's see if that happens. Does you could have got a re-entry here. It's sideways, but notice what's happening. Closing highs, order block, closing highs, order block, closing highs, order block, closing highs, order block. And until we fell high, it tries to continue down. Everything direction is up though. We're just kind of looking for something to satisfy the move back up. So we're looking for lows to be swept, which then can proceed us to break these highs. So that's what I think right now. We satisfy that, we move back up, we sweep this range. What can that do now? I think this is the 15-minute highs. I'm pretty sure. So if we're looking at this 15-minute highs, this is where it might push us down back to this order block, maybe lower to before we continue up. I'm not gonna go in depth in that. I'm just gonna see if that does happen. Just because time's getting on, like I said. But that's what I believe might happen. If that isn't gonna happen, like I said, we want to get that aggressive move off of those highs. If not, it's gonna be more of a sideways down before up type move. There's a down. We do that. We do sweep. This is where we do sweep top, break the bottom, sweep the bottom type thing, because we actually swept a high of importance. Like I said, if it's going to hold, this is where we're going to continue down. Where can it continue down to? Well, at some point we might sweep these lows on the 130. So we've satisfied everything now. We've swept the whole entire range. Now there's no reason why we should continue down. Now we can go back to the fact of what I'm saying about these shouldn't hold. These should just be things to push us back down to these order blocks before continuing up, which is exactly what I'm going to think right now. Let's see if that happens. So, like I said, continue back up to this range. I guess it only just went to this range. Doesn't really matter. What does it do though? Brings us back down to this range. Like I said, in every single example, it's been correct. Is if direction's going to flip again after coming down, sweeping, we're seeing these as things to just push us down to the opposite of the block. And look at that, it does the exact thing. And yeah, I will see if this goes up and then I'll just end it there. So yeah, it does go up. I'm pretty sure where we are now is as high as it goes. Yeah, it just comes back to this order block. Yeah, cool. Right, I hope you get some value out of this video. Yeah.